Hi there everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm the GCSE science teacher. In today's video, we're going to be learning about loudspeakers and headphones, and this is for GCSE Physics. I hope you do find this video helpful. If you do, let me know by giving it a thumbs up, share this with someone else, and please do subscribe if you haven't already and you'd like to. Thank you so much in advance, and let's get started. So what actually are loudspeakers? Well, these devices, you've probably got some in your home right now, and they convert electrical signals into sound waves. So we can hear them playing music or TV shows, things like that. So they're really useful devices. And it's the same with headphones. Both of them work in a very similar way because headphones actually contain a very small loudspeaker. And both of them use this idea of the motor effect, both of which we've covered. Okay, so the motor effect, I've already previously done a video on, I'll link it for you guys. And also sound waves, waves in general, we did a video. So I'll link both of those videos for you as well. But yeah, the motor effect, just as a bit of a recall, is when a wire carrying a current creates a magnetic field around it, and the interactions between those magnetic fields causes a force that acts at right angles. And we're going to explore this idea in a bit more detail today. Also, just as a bit of a recap, remember sound waves, they are examples of longitudinal waves. So we have two types of waves. As a bit of a recap, we've got transverse and longitudinal. We're talking about those longitudinal waves. So yeah, if you want to watch those videos, I highly recommend it, just so you've got a bit of background into this information. I'll link them for you either in the description box, in the card somewhere, or at the end of this video as well, so you don't miss out. So let's have a look at the structure of loudspeakers and how this links to their function. So the first thing you want to do is notice there's different components to a loudspeaker. We've first got the electrical signals coming into the loudspeaker device, and this is what carries that flow of charge, that current. And as you can see, the wires are actually coiled around a permanent magnet, and that's what makes that electromagnet section. That's what allows for the magnetic field to be produced, and therefore the motor effect. Because what's happening is, as that motor effect occurs, there's another part of the loudspeaker called the cone that actually experiences the force. And we're going to talk about this in a lot more detail in a second, but I just want to show you the different components because I think it's important that you see what I'm talking about. Now, the cone itself is like, similarly, you can see here the cone's vibrating. That vibration is what essentially produces those sound waves. And that's the part that we see. So we can actually see the cone, but everything else is pretty much hidden under plastic because obviously it's carrying electricity. So lots of devices don't really want the consumer seeing that, or more importantly, touching any of that because it's dangerous. So we obviously don't see a lot of this. We just see the cone, and that's the bit that's exposed to the air, and we can then, hear the sound coming from it. But what's quite interesting here is that in these devices, it's the variation in the electrical current that actually causes variations in the magnetic field produced. And as a result, this causes that cone to move, which creates this sort of pressure of different variations of air. And that's what really drives those sound waves from being produced. So let's have a look at how this works. Okay, so let's talk about how loudspeakers work in a bit more detail, especially what they really want you to know for the exam in the level of detail. So the first thing that happens is the coil of wire has a current running through it, and this creates that magnetic field. Okay, we know this already. After that, this magnetic field interacts with the permanent magnet inside the device, and it produces a force known as the motor effect. So these are all ideas we've previously discussed. As a result, this force actually pushes the cone outwards. Okay, we've seen this before in like motors. I did a video on that as well. Electric motors and how they actually can rotate. Instead of a rotation occurring, it's actually causing the cone to move up and down and vibrate back and forth. That's essentially the movement that we're seeing. And this is because of the motor effect. So the cone actually is pushed outwards to begin with. And then the alternating current that's in the device that's flowing through those wires helps change the direction of current. And as we know, if you change the direction of current, if we were to use our Fleming's left-hand rule, if you change the direction of current, it therefore changes the direction of the force being applied, and therefore the reverse will happen. So the cone will move back inwards. And this moving in and out of the cone actually causes this repetition. It causes this cone to start to vibrate, which is exactly what we want, because those vibrations of the cone is what causes that variation in pressure. Like I said, it actually causes the air around it, those air particles that are very close to the cone, to start to vibrate as well. And it's those increased vibrations and the traveling of those longitudinal waves, those vibrations that then get to our ears, and it causes our eardrums to vibrate as well. Now, the ears are actually quite an interesting topic. It's more of a key stage 3 topic, but I would love to do a video on that about how the ear works. If you are interested in anything like that, do let me know, because I think this links really nicely and I definitely can make that video for you guys. But that's pretty much it. So these are the key steps that you need to know. And as soon as you've really unlocked that understanding of the motor effect, you can really then start to apply it to really any device such as this one. So I hope you found it helpful. And also, just as a little side note, remember, headphones work exactly the same way because they contain small loudspeakers. So if they ask you in the exam about headphones or loudspeakers, you want to say the same kind of thing. And that's it from me today. I've been the GCSE science teacher and you have been curious. If you did enjoy this video, let me know by giving it a thumbs up. Do share this with someone to help them out. And also, if you'd like to and you haven't already, please do subscribe. It'll be lovely to have you here. Thank you so much for taking the time out to revise with me. Have a great day and I'll catch you in the next one. Take care.